Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast is your one-stop shop for fantasy football news and advice. Can't decide on who to draft on the first round? Going gaga on how to line up your team. Got you covered. Traditional leagues, dynasty league, PPR league, IDP league, even daily fantasy football league. Join us as we break down all the questions of fantasy football. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast.
What is going on, guys? This is the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, and I'm your host, Austin. I'm here to take you through all the stuff today. Football, just a couple days away, and I don't know if there's anybody any more excited than me. I really don't. I am a big fantasy football connoisseur. 12 years in the game. I'm 24 years old, so that equates to me starting when I was 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, fantasy football has really built me as a football fan. I've actually gained my favorite team and my favorite players strictly from fantasy football the first year that I played. Arian Foster being my favorite player, and the Houston Texans being my favorite team, unfortunately. But hopefully that will turn around in the coming years. You know what I'm saying? Today we're kind of just gonna go over the draft that I did for my team, my league, where I am the commissioner. I have guaranteed a win in this league. I've already guaranteed it. I think round 6, I was like, guys, GG's. I already won. Everybody was hating on my team. I did go with a bit of a more risky or unorthodox approach. And today we're just going to be going over my team. I want you guys to let me know, how did I draft? Do you guys like it? Do you think it was too risky? Are you high on the guys that I'm high on? Just kind of let me know. I would love to hear all thoughts and all opinions. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on into this. I'm going to do this real quick. So you see me right here, pick 10. I went with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, I can't even believe it. I'm getting him at number 10. It actually doesn't make any sense to me that people are allowing him to drop that far in standard PPR leagues when he gets as many targets as he does. He's the only guy on his team. Yes, the hamstring news, that's not bothering me in any way at all. Hopefully by week 3, week 4, he's just getting right into his stride, doing standard Cooper Kupp things, 15 targets a game, 12 targets a game. That's just what he does. I did have an opportunity here to pick Devontae Adams, and he did go with pick 11. But my thing with Devontae Adams was he's losing Derek Carr. That was his guy since college. He was putting up same or similar target numbers, up in those double-digit targets most games. But there were times where he got shut down, and when Cooper Kupp is nice and he's healthy, there's nobody can guard him, nobody that can guard him at all, and he's really not getting shut down too often unless you throw the safety on top of him and put the whole bracket on him. So for pick 1, I took Cooper Kupp, and it was really a no-brainer for me. Round 2, coming over here, see me on the snake back. I'm going with Garrett Wilson, and another easy decision for me personally. Garrett Wilson is a monster. Just got Aaron Rodgers. He's in the best situation that he could possibly be in. If you think about it, coming off, he had Zach Wilson as his guy. Actually Buns, not that good. And he's upgrading to the best arm talent to ever play in the NFL probably. Already put up the 1,000-yard season. He's coming for, you guys tell me, definitely more than 1,000 yards. No question about that. I do have him ranked higher personally than Amon-Ra, CD. It's kind of weird with CD. He's in a good offense. He's got a lot around him. Pollard set to burst, things of that nature. But Garrett Wilson, I just couldn't pass up on him. When I'm saying zig when everybody else zags, I'm going with Garrett Wilson there just because he's young. I'm stumbling, but he's just way too young. He's way too talented. Former Rookie of the Year here. I feel like that's also kind of a no-brainer play there. Maybe I can go with A.J. Brown. That was the only guy I was really otherwise thinking of. but I was really trying to go with Garrett Wilson there 100% of the time. Round three, coming back around here. I went really, and a lot of people aren't gonna like this pick, and I don't care about a lot of people because I'm zigging while everybody else is zagging. I know everybody's low on Debo Samuel. I can't really understand why. I'm hearing the reports from camp. Kyle Shanahan is saying that he's never seen more shirtless pictures get sent to him from another man than Debo Samuel. And that's what I like to invest in personally. That's really what I like to invest in. The DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Debo Samuel type guys that are worried about being, strong physical runners as well as just keeping their physique in shape at all times. Those are the guys that I want to invest my fantasy picks in personally. So I went with Debo Samuel. He's going to play in my flex position. I didn't really go over this. In my league, we go quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and then two flexes plus a defense. So, obviously I'm making these rules, but I don't think there's any reason to be worried about your kicker at that point. Like, your kicker's really just going to either save you. He's either going to save you if you have Justin Tucker, if you have Young Wei Koo, guys like that. But most often, these guys are not going to do anything for you. So in my league, we just removed them entirely. And, if you guys are the commission of your leagues, I would recommend you do the same because who needs kickers? This is the NFL. Anyways, going on to round four here. Round four, I circled back and see this was a reach. This was a big reach that I took here. Um, But I personally don't think so. This guy's going to be feeding off of Justin Jefferson. He's going to be in a great offense where he's going to be the number two receiver. Um, Obviously, all of the DBs are going to be eyes on Justin Jefferson at all times. There's not going to be one person with at least like a little bit of attention in the defensive backfield for any given team playing against the Minnesota Vikings not looking at Justin Jefferson. So why not TJ Hawkinson to do some damage? Um, I did reach here. If you see, I took TJ Hawkinson at 39 and his ADP is 49. I don't care. If another person tells me about ADP, I'm gonna jump out the window. I might just do it because ADP does not matter. I was looking at a lot of the ADP rankings from last year. Guys like DeAndre Hopkins, uh, guys like yeah, DeAndre Hopkins was 80. I'm just gonna make sure I get the right number for y'all. DeAndre Hopkins, last year's ADP, 87, came back immediately just grabbing 10 targets a game, 10 targets a game, 10 targets a game, 10 targets a game. That boy is a beast. Um, as well as last year's ADP, Jonathan Taylor being number one. Like, people just, you can't really trust these fantasy football gurus. You gotta zig when these guys are zagging, and that's what I'm doing, picking up TJ Hawkinson in round four, making sure I got that tight end spot just like on luck. It's very hard to get a good tight end. Obviously, Kelsey in my draft, he went pick three. Um, Hawkinson ended last year after being traded, still ending up as wide or as tight end number two. Um, it's just a simple pick for me. I can't get enough of TJ Hawkinson. I'll probably take him in any other draft that I can get him in. And we're going over to round five. I'm taking the best running back in the league. I'm coining that. Best running back in the league. Austin said Justin Fields, the best running back in the league. 7.1 yards per attempt from the quarterback position. This man runs all over the field. I can't get enough. Absolute beast. I'm willing to go all in on him. As you can see, we have a chance to grab like who? Who am I going to take? Maybe I take Darren Waller, but I already got TJ Hawkinson early. Um, I could take or no, can't even go with DeAndre Hopkins here. I'm not liking Herbert, so that just leaves me with one Justin Fields option. Absolutely going to run all over the field, no question about it. In round six, I'm very excited with this pick. This guy falls to me somehow at round six. Just was literally talking about him as the number one ADP last year. Number one consensus across the board ADP, Jonathan Taylor. Yes, he's gonna sit for a couple weeks, but that really doesn't bother me all too much. I'm really not tripping about it in any way, just because as soon as he comes back, he's another one of these guys. Look, when I'm playing fantasy football, I'm looking for people who are gonna get attempts, because attempts lead to yards, leads to touchdowns, lead to, fantasy success. And Jonathan Taylor's the type of guy. He sat for the first couple weeks last year, or no, he didn't. He didn't sit for the first couple weeks. He immediately came out and was red hot. Put up 27 fantasy points week one against Houston. Obviously dealt with the high ankle sprain and all of that. He's a 20 touches per guy, 20 touches per game type guy, no question about it. So I'm willing to take him in round six every single time. Hopefully, we are hoping for a trade for him. I would love if he got traded. He's going to be the lead back wherever he's at, so it really doesn't matter to me if he sticks with the Colts. If he does stick with the Colts, he's got Anthony Richardson and him back there. That's literally already the most athletic backfield in the league. I can't think of another backfield doing any better athletically than the Colts right now. Y'all tell me, like, is there another team? I don't think so. Maybe the Josh Allen, James Cook situation. Um, Lamar Jackson doesn't really have a guy. He's got a whole committee with him over there. Jalen Hurts, Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, maybe. But from an athleticism standpoint in the backfield, AR-15 plus Jonathan Taylor, that's looking pretty good to me. I pick him up in round six. Seems like a no-brainer as well. Bunch of no-brainers here. Round seven, circle back. This guy played all 17 games last year, was an absolute savage. He runs like a Giselle. He moves like nobody else I see on NFL fields at all. And that man is Dalvin Cook. Take him with the 82nd pick here. And I think this is going to be one of my steals of the year. I actually grabbed him in my other league too. And like, talk about no-brainers. At 82, I'm getting a guy who was ADP top 20 last year. Just got paid. He's happy. Brees Hall is going to be chilling for a while. And he's going to be taking the lion's share of the carries. He might, and this is just a hot take, just a bold prediction, he might just leave Brees Hall in the dust. Brees Hall might not have a job in New York when it's all said and done this year, because I really don't see Dalvin Cook slowing down. Uh, what age? He's 29 years old. He's ready to go. He's going to have a very big season. The Jets are primed for big things. If you're watching Hard Knocks, it looks like they're locked in over there in New York. Jet Life Stadium, they're calling it. And I'm a big proponent. I'm a Rodgers guy. I can get down with it for sure. Um, Here, round eight, super simple pick for me. I'm coming back on the way with that 10th pick, circling back sorry, my bad. No, this is round eight. Yeah, round eight right here. I'm grabbing Brandon Cooks. Like I just told y'all, I'm a huge Texans guy. This pick just makes sense in every aspect of it making sense. Um, like we're looking at the guys who are around him, who's getting drafted next to him. I'm never taking uh Zay Flowers over him, an unproven guy. I'm not taking Traylon Burks, Gabe Davis. Like I like Gabe Davis, I like Traylon Burks. I can get down with DeAndre Swift, but for my value and because of how our league is um, like sorted, just having those two flex spots, I threw him directly into my next flex spot. He eats up targets, and something I really like in fantasy as well is just as I was talking about with TJ Hawkins, when someone can really just feed off another guy. Like Jefferson's getting all this attention, all this attention, all this attention. Everybody's got to be looking at where he is. So TJ Hawkinson right there to get these easy catches that nobody's even watching out for. Same thing I kind of think goes with Brandon Cooks here. He's going to be the wide receiver too in Dallas. Seems like an easy pickup. Um, I don't know why everybody's saying it's so risky. Going in around 9 here. Round 9, I get the steal of the draft. Plain and simple. I really do get the steal of the draft here. This guy was literally popping off more than anybody. His last 4 weeks last year in fantasy, that playoff situation, the time where you need your guys to show up, this guy was showing up. Jerick McKinnon, absolute problem. Had his best year he's ever had. 9 total touchdowns last year. Um, what else can I say? Like, absolute dog in the receiving category. He's not going to get as many rushes. Obviously, Pacheco's going to be hogging all the rushes. But that is a committee over there, kinda. Um, a bit of a committee, I guess. Pacheco gets the rushes, McKinnon gets the touches from the passing game, and Clyde helps out where he can. It's the most explosive offense in the league, and I think I just got an absolute steal at pick. What pick are pick 106? 106 for a guy who was a top 5 running back to finish the year, and the only guy in the last 4 weeks that had more points than him as a running back was Christian McCaffrey. Seems a little too easy for me. Oh snap! Sorry, we didn't have this up yet. This is going to be the picks 97 to 103, 103 to 108. Very simple. I gotta skirt through these a little bit. 10. Yo, round 10 here. I go a bit unorthodox here as well because I do have Justin Fields. I think he's a bit risky as it pertains to a quarterback. He can get hurt. He's already the best running back in the league, so I got to get another running back type quarterback to fit my scheme because I know this guy's going to get touchdowns. I know he's going to be launching the ball down the field. He has a rocket for an arm, and that's Anthony Richardson. Very big on him as well. Think he's primed for a big year. Maybe once Jonathan Taylor gets back, so he can run that play action and be a little bit more solid. Um, but I'm excited to see what he's got for us. Round 11, we went Adam Thielen, who's the number 1 in Carolina. Caught a touchdown preseason. It was pretty slick, pretty smooth. I was liking what he was doing, like what I was seeing in the preseason. He got paid. See, that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people aren't looking at. Who's getting paid out here? Who's making the money? Adam Thielen's one of those guys. So I absolutely took him. Felt like another no-brainer play, honestly. I was just running through this draft and I just saw the guys that I liked, and I wasn't afraid to go a little bit deeper. I had it on my MacBook, so I feel like a lot of people when they're drafting, they're just all up in their phone and they can see like 6 or 7 guys, and most people just take one of those 6 or 7 guys. But I would recommend like just look a little deeper, see if you find a guy that you actually really, really like, and swoop him up because you probably won't have another chance to grab him. Round 12 went Tyler Algier, 1,000 yard rusher, put up a legitimate, uh, at least a pretty legitimate case for a rookie of the year type guy. He was really the only guy doing anything in fashion about to do for Richardson. So what he did to her, skater dart. Appreciate you. um, damn, what was I about to say? Yeah, Tyler Algier, 1,000 yard rusher. Who else was really doing anything in uh in Atlanta? Nobody really. Cordero Patterson, he was getting some touches, and he was even sharing time with Algier, and he still found a way to put up 1,000 yards. So I grabbed him. I don't know if I'm super hot on the Bijan Robinson hype. Doesn't seem like you know it, the type of thing I'm talking about. Like Saquon Barkley comes in the league, he goes crazy. I just don't know if he's any better than Saquon. He's like his comp would be Saquon if I was to give him a comparison, but I just don't know if I'm big on the hype yet. And this is the NFL. Like you just or Bijan could possibly get hurt and take over. I would love to see that. Absolutely. Round 13, we go with the Jets D. Everybody was taking a defense, so just had to grab them up there. I think I watched too much Hard Knocks because I just needed to. Everything the Jets are doing, I'm doing. I might just place a future right after this for Jets to win the whole thing. Um, round 14. Round 14 here we go with Jaden Reed. A lot of people haven't even heard of Jaden Reed. He's a rookie coming out of Michigan State. Grabbed 24% target share when he was at Michigan State. He's an absolute savage. He runs around the field like a Giselle as well. He's extremely fast, and he's going to play in the slot for the Packers this year. I'm pretty big on him. I think first first couple weeks probably he'll start making an impact. The Packers roster really looks, or at least their offense looks like a college team. They got Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs being their first three guys. Like 3 years ago, none of those guys were doing anything in the league, obviously. So I think he'll have just as much of a chance as Christian Watson to go off this year. Round 15, we go Evan Hull, and that's just to make up for the Jonathan Taylor pick. He's going to be the guy that's on top of him, or on top of the depth chart. Hopefully, he's going to be fighting with Deion Jackson. Zach Moss is also going to be in the mix, but I grabbed him just in case. And then around 16, we end up going with one Greg Dulcich, who I'm also extremely high on. Uh, a lot of people aren't talking about him in any way, but um, I'm really high on him. Averaged 5 targets per game last year, and I think he has a really good chance to go off again. Another unorthodox, uh, risky type play that I went with. Um, but yes, we will be right back. And when we are, I'm going to talk about my sleepiest sleepers that you should grab in your fantasy draft this year. We'll be right back. And we are back, back, back. The lighting is looking a bit off. We're going to fix that. Oh, no. Sorry, guys. 1 second. No, we're really back now. We are really, really back now. All right. So I told y'all I'm gonna talk about my sleepy, sleepy sleepers today, and this is gonna be the meat of the episode. You're gonna love this part. My sleepy sleepers. We're gonna start off with numero uno, Mr. Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette finished 12th in PPR running back rankings last year. Absolute animal. Also had his best receiving season by 1 yard. Uh, he previously put up a 522-yard receiving season last year with Tom. He put up a 523-yard receiving season. He does not have a team right now, and that's unfortunate. But I can tell you, and I will guarantee this, I would let whoever wants to put a comment of what I should do if Leonard Fournette is not on the team by week 5 of this year. Go ahead and put it up. I'll do anything that that comment says because he absolutely is landing on a roster and he will be the lead back for somebody. A little bit about Leonard Fournette, fourth round pick 6 years ago, 2017. Um, he put up 1,100 yards from scrimmage last year, which is extra solid. Gonna result in a lot of fantasy points. He recently did work out for the New England Patriots a couple weeks ago. Came in and they said he was out of shape. Now, that's not what we want to be hearing, but I can tell you a guy that finished running back 12, he's going to grab a roster spot for me, plain and simple. Um, yeah, hey, Gator Dart, how about we say, what do you want me to do if Leonard Fournette's not on a roster by week 5 of this year? Go ahead and let me know, and I will really do it because I have 99% confidence interval statistics term that he will be playing for sure. And he's definitely just gonna sleep on my bench until he comes in. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh." Okay, so apparently I have to buy his jersey and burn it if he's not on a roster by week 5. I will hold myself to that. I'm gonna write it down. Buy jersey and burn it. Seems legit. Seems very, very legit. Um, so yeah, he's absolutely going to be somebody that sleeps on the end of my bench, and I would recommend that he sleeps on the end of your bench as well. The next guy I'm going with is one Rashad Bateman, 23-year-old wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Another dog. This guy's very, very fast. There's a lot of hype on him coming out of college, and he's really not that old still. 23 years old. Um, probably younger than a lot of y'all watching this episode. Um, it hasn't gotten to his opportunity, hasn't gotten to hit his prime yet. His prime is absolutely coming. He was the number one wide receiver for his team. 2021, he was a rookie coming out of Minnesota. He's an absolute dog. Uh, Held a large target share for them. Obviously, Mark Andrews is going to be number one for them all the time. But when he was healthy before his foot injury, his rookie year, he was the wide receiver 30. Promising upside. We always will take some promising upside. They also just got head offensive coordinator Todd Monken, who was able to in 2019 take Baker to his best year, and Baker's absolutely probably the worst quarterback in the league. He keeps finding jobs somehow. I'm not sure, but he does. And Todd Monken led him to his best year that he's had in the league, passing for a ton of yards. 2018, he was also responsible for the Fitz Magic offense. Um, that was a very, very good offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick was, a dad playing football, and Todd Monken was out here making him look good. So if you don't think he can make Lamar Jackson look good, you got another thing coming, truthfully. Um, this guy, Rashad, he was drafted right after Jamar, Devonta, Waddle. Uh, a lot of NFL scouts were thinking that he had like that type of upside, that type of talent to to be one of those guys. Obviously, those three guys are proven. Now it's time for Rashad to step in and prove himself this year. I definitely am predicting a breakout season for Rashad Bateman. And then, guys, my final sleeper, my sleepiest sleeper that nobody is really talking about is one DeAndre Hopkins. Man, this guy, I don't get how he falls. This year, ADP, his average draft position is 53. Last year, he was suspended for 6 games. His average draft position was 87. And let me just tell you his game logs for targets as soon as he came in. So he missed his first 6 games, right? He missed his first six. Then immediately 14 targets. Next week, 13 targets. Then 5 against Seattle, who probably, had him locked up. Tariq Woolen, uh, kind of like a new Legion of Boom type of situation going on over there. They're definitely loaded at the DB. So he got 5 targets. Next week came back 14 targets, 12 targets, 6 targets, then a bye. 11 targets, 11 targets, 10 targets is how he finished out the season. I don't see how that changes while he's playing with the Titans. Derrick Henry's going to have a stack box every single time he steps on the field. If Derrick Henry's back there and I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm putting, I mean, at least 7. But then I'm gonna find out, throughout the first quarter that 7's not enough. 7 guys in my box is simply not enough. Derrick Henry's slashing me. I'm gonna go ahead and put an 8th guy over there. So now DeAndre's gonna have one-on-one all day, and I'm loving my chances. DeAndre Hopkins one-on-one versus any corner in the league. 31 years old, doesn't bother me at all. That guy's an absolute monster. Ryan Tannehill was hurt all last year. He's coming back healthy, hopefully. He really does like his wide receiver ones. AJ Brown thrived in that offense. Yep, Gator Dart knows. Not to mention, GOAT Ryan Tannehill throwing dimes down the field. That man is, he's had his ups, he's had his downs. He's an okay quarterback, but I think it's really easy to throw to DeAndre Hopkins. I think I could go out there and have a pretty decent chance throwing it on DeAndre Hopkins. Um, and really, who else are they going to throw to? Their second guy was last year was Nick Westbrook Akine. I want to know how many fantasy rosters. Did you guys draft Nick Westbrook Akine this year? I he missed my roster this year personally. And then they got Traylon Burks. He's coming off another injury. First round pick. Probably like some decent upside, but who else? Chigoziem, Okonkwo. I'm going with DeAndre Hopkins every single day here. Last year only played in 9 games because of his suspension. Still put up a solid 717 yards, uh, leading to 80 yards per game. And you could take him as the wide receiver or at ADP 53, wide receiver 25-ish. There's not 25 better wide receivers than DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm sure his NFL counterparts would also say the same. But yeah, that is the first show. This was also my first podcast, so I was super excited to get it done. Shout out Andrew Tate, that is my boss, and he is the head of GSMC for giving me the opportunity. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any comments, just leave them in the comments, like and subscribe, all of those things.